Hi. Australia is really going down the pan and fast, and it's time we do something about it. I'm going to read a list of things that really need to be done and need to be done very, very soon. As we know, we've got no democracy in this country. We are run by dictators, not only in federal parliament, but in state parliaments as well. This has got to end. I think we all thought that political decisions, were made in parliament. Forget that, because that no longer happens. Decisions are made in the PM's office, and the parliamentarians are told how to vote. That is not democracy at all. I believe Albanese is not stupid, but he's dangerous, or I believe he's dangerous, because he is heading this country purposely into so much debt that soon we will become a communist country. And if this is what you really want, well, sit down and do nothing. But if you want the old Australia back, then it's time to do something. So what are we going to do? Who am I talking about? I'm talking about a new political party, a political party that's going to make changes, a political party that is for the people of Australia, run by the people of Australia. Time to act now. So what do we want to do? Well, I'm going to read this now, so if I look away, sorry about that. So what can we do? Basically, we've got to change our constitution, and we've got to change the whole Australian political structure. It's no good just altering the chairs on the deck of the Titanic, or should I say great ship Australia. That is not going to solve our problems. We have got to act, and act firmly, and change our constitution to meet Australian demands. So what are our problems? Let's look into what our problems really are. Well, as I said, we appear to be heading towards communism. There's many unskilled immigrants heading into the country, and that's only being done to shore up this government's future. When they came to power, or before they came to power, all we got was lies, false promises, and basically we were bribed into voting for the current government. That's how most politicians get into power. So really what I'm saying is that those politicians that we voted for no longer are able to respect our wishes. They are told how to vote. If not, they lose their seats. So that is, again, what I'm saying, that democracy is no longer in Australia. So, and really all these current politicians, and I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them are just there to fill their pockets. There's no one really acting for the people of Australia. Those people that have got good jobs, fantastic. They've got nothing to worry about. They just carry on in the same old way. What about those people that can't afford housing? That can't really afford enough food? They've got to sleep in their cars. And this is Australia. And is it going to get better? No, it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse month by month, year by year, unless we do something about it. So get off your backsides and let's get stuck into it. So basically, one of our, I suppose you can call it, policies would be to do away with state governments, not states, not territories, but just their governments. Why? Because basically they are the ones that are selling off Australia to the highest bidder. The states are the ones that are selling off the land, the businesses, the houses. And look, how many houses are there around Australia bought by overseas investors sitting empty while Australians are sleeping in their car or in a blasted tent? That's not good enough. Now, so what is the state governments costing Australia? The governments in each state and territory are each costing hundreds of millions of dollars, taxpayers' dollars, or ratepayers' dollars, or whatever other taxes they impose on us. Now, you take that over the whole of the Australian territories and states, that's a lot of money. Money that can be used into housing those people that don't have somewhere safe to live, to build infrastructure, to create jobs, and basically bring Australia back to the position where they should be. So what else do we do? What's the real answer? Well, at the moment, things are just change half-heartedly. We've got to really think outside the box, make those big essential changes, bring Australia into the modern era. It's no good, living back in Victorian or Edwardian times. They really don't matter now. The past is the past, and we've got to move into the future. Some time ago, I recall a young lady on the TV, and probably I think she was a student of some type, going to university, I believe. And she complained that the problem was Australia was being run by people with grey hair. Well, hey, come on. Unfortunately, I've got grey hair. But I'm going to let you into a real big secret. I'm only old on the outside. Inside, I still think as I did when I was 30 years old. And we want young people to join our party to get Australia moving once again. So don't judge us by the colour of our hair, judge us by what we do or what we want to do. And talking about that, it's not just saying what we're going to do, it's what we're going to do, why we're going to do it, and how we're going to do it. And that's what really matters. The people of Australia are not stupid, and they need to know all of the answers, not just false promises. We've had enough of those over the years. So what about opposition parties? Well, okay, there is no real opposition at the moment. The parties are falling by the wayside. A lot of people are saying, well, look, what about Pauline Hanson and One Nation? Okay, she is saying what people think, or she's saying some things that people think. But look, she's been in politics a long time, and I've got a lot of time for her personally, and I think she's done quite well. But where are her policies? What policies has she brought forward in the last 10 years? We need something a bit better, unfortunately, than One Nation. We need a party that is prepared to look outside that box. So what can we do? So this new party, the Reform Party of Australia, and there's a lot of reform parties happening around the world, and the UK, of course, being one of them, I believe Canada. But reform is there for a reason, because they want to change the rot that has set in over the years. So we do need reform. So let's be very important, very clear about that matter, because otherwise we're all wasting our time. So one of the things about the Reform Party of Australia is that not only do we want to do away with state governments and the money that it's taking, that they're wasting on their own personal pleasures, private jets and accommodation and meals in 5-star restaurants and hotels and whatever. We have got to concentrate on those main things, and we've got to save some money as well, because our spending has got ridiculously out of all proportion. So one of the things that we want to do now, we want to look after business. Now, you may think this next suggestion I'm going to make is anti-business. Well, no, because we've thought of not just half of the problem, but we've really gone into all of it. So we would want to alter slightly the tax position of what Australians are paying, and head it slightly towards Australian business and big business in particular. Now, there's a lot of companies, overseas companies and Australian companies, that are operating in Australia. They're making very good money, but they're not paying much tax at all. They're probably spending more on tax relief or tax lessening schemes where they have overseas companies, and all those have got to be administered. They've got to have accountants. They've got to have legal teams. What's that costing them? So what we believe is every company operating in Australia should really pay some sort of tax. And we are looking at a tax on turnover, fair and reasonable, starting from as little as 7.5% on net turnover. Now, that is probably less than what a lot of these companies are paying in what little tax they do pay, but all the other, as I said, the accountants, the solicitors, whatever. So they're just helping to ease the tax burden. That, of course, then combined with what we'd be saving on the state governments is adding up to a lot of money, and that will help us to reduce our ridiculously high debt. And we've really got to do something about that very, very quickly, because we are paying so much in interest, and that money is money that could be spent here in Australia. So time to get off our backsides and maybe do something about it. So what else can we do? The Reform Party of Australia has got some really good, forward-thinking, common sense policies. We also have some excellent financial strategies that are going to take us back to where we belong. Now, one other thing I think that we've got to bear in mind, that by altering the tax and taking some of the burden away from the normal taxpayer, and the idea of making sure that those companies that make money in Australia pay tax in Australia, we would be looking to give some sort of relief to those people that are working, that they would earn or could earn $1,000 or maybe even $1,200 a week before they pay any tax. So, what does that do for the country? It gives more money to every worker's pocket. They can then go out and spend with those companies that think they might be hard done by. It will give money that people can pay rent, or they can buy their own house. It gives people options, and we don't have them options now. So come on, Australia, let's really do something about it. Let's forget what has happened in the past, although we can't forget, but we can learn by what's happened in the past. And it's time, get up off our backsides, let's get in and let's really alter things for the best. Now, hopefully, anyone who knows any parliamentarians, I think we ought to maybe talk to some of those in confidence, and we would like them and anyone else to get in touch with us. We don't know all the answers, and we never will. That's why this is a people's party. It's not a party for the favoured few. It's for everyone, whether you're working, whether you're not. So it is time that we did so. It's not going to happen if we do nothing. So time to really get in and get something done. So if you want some more information, you can get in touch with our party, with the Reform Party of Australia, and you can get in touch with us by email at info@reformpartyofaustralia.com.au. I'll repeat that again. Reform Party of Australia And that is, of course, initially info@reformpartyofaustralia.com.au. I'd like to hear from you. Time to stand up and let's look forward to altering Australia. I'm not in this for money. I've, shall we say, nearly run my game, but I'm looking at children, grandchildren, and all future generations. And it's time we all did that. And let's head into a better and more prosperous Australia. Thank you for listening, and I'd love to hear from you. Bye for now.